They say life is not about what happens to you, but how you respond. I wanted to test this, not in theory, but in practice. So, I decided to live 1 month through the eyes of the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. What I discovered changed the way I saw myself, the world, and the battles within me. This wasn't just philosophy. It was war. A war against my own impulses, my ego, and my endless distractions. It all started with dissatisfaction. My life wasn't falling apart, but something was missing. I felt restless, constantly pulled between desires, fears, and frustrations that seemed too small yet too powerful to ignore. I wanted clarity. I wanted discipline. And I wanted peace. That's when I stumbled upon Stoicism, not as quotes on social media, but as a way of life. I began by studying their teachings. Control what you can, let go of what you cannot. It sounded simple, almost too simple. But the challenge was not in knowing it, the challenge was in living it. So, I made a vow, for the next 30 days, I would live as the Stoics lived. No complaints, no self-pity, no chasing after what was outside my control. The first week hit me harder than expected. Every small irritation, the traffic, the slow Wi-Fi, the rude stranger, became a battlefield. I noticed how quickly my emotions would rise, how my peace would shatter over things that did not matter. It was humbling. And yet, within this struggle, something was awakening inside me. The second week was not about learning new wisdom, but unlearning old habits. I realized that my life had been shaped by impulses I barely noticed. I reached for my phone without thought, spoke without reflection, and let emotions steer my day like an untamed horse. Stoicism demanded that I pull on the reins. I began practicing morning reflections, writing down what I feared might test me that day, insults, delays, disappointments, and preparing my mind to meet them with calm. At night, I reviewed my failures, not with guilt, but with honesty. This rhythm of awareness began to sharpen my self-control. Still, temptation lingered everywhere. When friends argued over trivial matters, I wanted to join. When social media paraded the lives of others, I wanted to compare. When things didn't go my way, anger tempted me like fire waiting for fuel. But each time, I reminded myself, none of this is mine to control. My only duty is to govern myself. Slowly, the storm inside began to settle. The noise of the world did not vanish, but I was learning not to let it enter my soul. By the third week, something began to shift. The lessons I had been forcing into practice were no longer just exercises, they were becoming part of me. Where once I would flare up in anger, I now paused. Where once I would drown in comparison, I stood firm. I began to understand the Stoic secret: peace is not found in the world around you, but in the fortress you build within. This was not about indifference. It was about freedom. I still felt emotions, but I no longer served them. They came, and they left, while I remained steady. Even pain began to look different. Instead of asking, "Why me?" I asked, "What can this teach me?" Every obstacle became a test of strength, every discomfort a chance to train my soul. People around me noticed. They asked why I seemed calmer, less reactive, more grounded. But it wasn't pride I felt. It was humility. For the first time, I realized how little control I truly had over life, and how much power I held over myself. But the greatest test was still waiting for me in the final week. The last week arrived with a storm I had not expected. A series of setbacks struck all at once, plans collapsed, someone I trusted disappointed me, and sudden uncertainty clouded the days ahead. In the past, this would have broken me. I would have cursed the unfairness, drowned in frustration, and let chaos rule my mind. But now, I had been training for this moment. I remembered the words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Instead of resisting reality, I accepted it. Instead of clinging to control, I released what was never mine to hold. And in that surrender, I felt unshakable calm. By the end of the month, I understood the truth. Stoicism was never about being emotionless. It was about being unbreakable. Life would not stop throwing its storms, but I no longer needed it to. Because the storms outside could rage, but the fortress inside was mine to build. 1 month of Stoicism did not just change how I lived, it changed who I was. And I knew, this was only the beginning. If this journey spoke to you, then remember, the path of Stoicism is not mine alone, it is open to anyone willing to face themselves. So if you seek strength, clarity, and peace in a world of chaos, join me on this path. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more Stoic lessons that can transform your life. Because the war is not out there, it's within. And together, we can win it.